All right, so if your fantasy football team made it into the playoffs, congratulations to you. And you're probably concerned about a number of injuries. The injury bug hitting pretty hard this time of year. Joining me now to break it all down, Cameron Sparks with Fantasy Football Life and Fantasy Gauntlet. Good to have you here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so for all of us who are trying to figure out exactly who we're going to put into that playoff lineup this morning, what should the overall strategy be for the playoffs? Is it different than the regular season in some ways?
Honestly, there's a few guys. There's some teams out there who had, like you mentioned, David Johnson or Ezekiel Elliott. Those guys are probably not worried today. Everyone else is dealing with some sort of injury where they're playing some sort of matchup. And so you want to keep a lookout for a few guys. Trevor Siemian is a guy who's got some implications on your team because of his wide receivers, Demarius and Emmanuel Sanders. And so he's a lot better than Paxton Lynch. Keep an eye on him. He's supposed to play with the foot injury, but watch out for him. Mark Ingram is a game-time decision. It looks like he's going to go as of this morning, but he's got that toe injury, and so you haven't been able to figure out how the Saints running backs are going to do. Ryan Matthews is back this week, so if you've been going with Smallwood, be wary of that. Julio Jones is the really big one this week. He's got that toe injury. They were optimistic on Friday. Today it sounds like they're a little bit more pessimistic. They want to test him out on the field conditions, and so definitely keep an eye on Julio if you're dealing with that injury. My condolences. Jordan Reed has struggled with a shoulder injury. I think I would probably sit him whether he's going to play or not. He would be out there as a decoy. And then Sammy Watkins, he's likely to be 100% today no matter what. So he's going to be on the injury report, but I think he's going to play and be just fine.
All right. So if you have a guy like that, a guy like Julio Jones, who's absolutely plug and play every week, if he's in this situation right now, do you play him anyway? Is there any situation where you bench him if he is active? If you
can watch that, 10, 15 minutes before the game, see him get out there and run, they will let you know how he looked running, and that would be my decision. If they say, hey, he looked a little bit light, but he's going to play, I would probably bench him.
Who's on the must-start list?
Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston had a streak of 5 games with 20+. He's been solid the last 2, and then he plays the Saints not only today but in 2 weeks as well. So he's going to be a good guy to have on your playoff roster. Matthew Stafford against the Bears, he should have a big week. Thomas Rawls, you watched last week, you see all that snow over there in Green Bay, and so it could be a big ground game for him. Jeremy Hill versus Cleveland has been very consistent. And then Taylor Gabriel, wide receiver for Atlanta, keep an eye out for him for the reasons. Julio Jones possibly being banged up. That'd be a good guy to have.
Yeah, he's been a playmaker the last few weeks. Who should be sitting this week?
Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota's going up against Denver. He's had a good track record. 8 of the last 9 games, he's had 20 points. But Denver they don't allow QB touchdowns, so keep an eye on him. TJ Yeldon, Chris Ivory's out, so he's probably a promising start for guys who are looking for running backs, but I don't see him getting much running room against Minnesota. They've got a very tough defense. Richard Matthews, another guy who's been hot. He's had a touchdown or 100 yards in 8 of the last 9 games, but he's going up against Denver, and they just don't allow that. So.
How concerned should we be about weather this time of year?
I would keep an eye on the weather. Big Ben is a guy to watch today. He plays in Buffalo. They've been talking about having swirling winds, and so he'd be a guy I'm a little weary of. I'm keeping an eye on Big Ben.
Okay, and I would imagine for kickers and things like that, that'd be something to worry about.
Kickers, right now, clear they can't kick. So if you see some wind or snow, steer clear of a kicker in that kind of weather.
Maybe the opportunity to stream a guy who's kicking in a dome today or something.
Definitely.
All right, good stuff. Cameron Sparks, thank you so much as always.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck to you in your fantasy football playoffs. 8:47 right